What's the deal with Chicago and deep dish pizza? I'm gonna answer a bunch of your questions about Chicago. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? I'm Joe Scott. I make videos about what it's like to live in Chicago, the neighborhoods, places to go, things you should know. So if that's the kind of information, content you are looking for, hit that subscribe button. I'm also a real estate agent here in Chicago. People reach out to me every day that I'm moving here. They call, text, email. I have a process that makes buying and selling in Chicago easy for you. So if you're planning that, reach out to me. I've got your back. Okay, we have some hard-hitting questions today, so let's get right into it. The first question is, what's the big deal with Chicago and deep dish pizza? I like this question because I want to clear this up right here. A lot of people not from Chicago, they associate Chicago with deep dish. Oh, Chicago style, deep dish pizza. A lot of the tourists, when they come here, they go to the pizza spots and they get deep dish. I'm gonna speak for myself and people I know. We don't like deep dish, really. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. It's like 7 layers of cheese. It's like 3 pounds per slice. One slice and the belly's out. It's done. One slice. Like, who wants to eat that all the time? We eat regular thin pizza here in Chicago. Now, like I say, every once in a while, do people order deep dish? Yes. Are there people who live here that love it? Sure. But it's not this thing where all Chicagoans like deep dish and that's all we eat and we can't get enough of it. No, by and large, it's something tourists do when they come to Chicago because they think it's a Chicago thing. So I'm not a fan of deep dish. If you come to Chicago, you wanna try it out, knock yourself out. But no, it's really not a Chicago thing. It's like a Hallmark holiday situation. It's associated with us, but we really don't have anything to do with it. Like, I have no horse in the game, dog in the fight, something like that. So I'm indifferent. Either way, that's how I feel. There's your update on deep dish pizza in Chicago. Next question is, how soon should I start to look for a place if I want to move to Chicago? The person who sent in this question didn't specifically say they were renting or if they were looking to buy, so I'll answer both of those. If you are looking to rent, places usually become available no earlier than 60 days before the move-in date. So 2 months before you plan to move in, you need to start looking, okay? And make sure you're looking. Do not start looking 2 weeks before your move-in date. That's too late, especially when it's competitive between late spring and summer. You want to give yourself as much time as possible. So at the least give yourself 45 days before the move-in date if you are looking to buy. Now, this is gonna be find out how the market is when you start to look, because right now the Chicago market is pretty crazy. In the suburbs, it's insane. So there's low inventory, high demand. It's tough to find a place. Usually you want to give yourself a good 6 weeks to look, and then you want to give yourself another month for the contract period. So that's 4 and 6, that's 10 weeks. So about 2.5 months or so, you want to give yourself from the time you start looking to when you actually close and move into your home. That's gonna vary depending on how the current market is. So take a look at that, talk to a real estate professional to get an idea of that when the time comes. So there's your timing for renting and buying here in the Chicagoland area. This next question is a great one for people moving to Chicago with families or you plan to have a family. Are all Chicago public schools bad? Woo! All right, that's a great question. Okay, in Chicago, what you would consider a good public school, that's very subjective. When you go to these websites that rank the schools, a lot of that can be, like I say, it's tough to know exactly who's writing those reviews, etc. But by and large, I'm gonna tell you this, the most competitive schools for Chicago to get into are the magnet schools, which are the schools, the public schools that have the most resources and people fight to get into them. Now, I think that speaks to the general level of the neighborhood public schools because everybody fights to get into the magnet public schools and charter schools. One thing you should know, or a couple of things you should know. If you are moving to Chicago, know what your neighborhood school is, elementary, high school, whatever it is for where you're going to live. Find out what the neighborhood school is, look into that. Then you want to look into what magnet schools are around you. Magnet schools are public schools, where they're schools that have a little bit more resources, but the entire city can apply to go to them. So see which magnet schools are close to you that you can apply to. Then go to the CPS website and educate yourself on the application process and everything you have to do to get your child into one. I believe you get to pick multiple 5, 6+ schools. There's a lottery system, and you rank which ones are most important to you. And there's a lottery system, and they pick and they find one for you. It's pretty much just that. But go to the CPS website, educate yourself a little bit more on it so you have an idea of the timing and what you need to do when you move here to Chicago. So I guess to answer that question, I'm not gonna say all public schools are bad. I don't think that'd be a fair assessment because there's just a lot that goes into that. But I will say most people choose and want their child to be in a magnet school. And because of that, it's hyper competitive. So educate yourself and do the best you can to get your child in. Next question, what's the traffic like and is it easy to get around Chicago? Now, traffic in Chicago is going to be the same that you would expect from any major city with this many people around. All right, moving back and forth, the morning commute, the afternoon commute, even during the day. And sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to the traffic. So there's gonna be major traffic in the mornings and the afternoons. Getting around the city though is easy. Chicago is one of the best cities to learn. It's one of the best laid out cities. Learning how to get around Chicago is easy. It's a grid. So north, south, east, west, numbers are getting bigger. You're going east, west, north, south. You figure out where you're going easily. We have a few angle streets, but beyond that, once you're here in Chicago, if you can count and you can read north, south, east, west, you'll be able to figure out what direction you're going and how to get where you want to. Public transit here is amazing. If you're looking to take the train, the bus, biking, they're making the city so much better for bikers. So honestly, no matter how you want to get around, if you're driving, bus, train, bike, Chicago is, I would say, very friendly to those who want to get around, and it's quick, low learning curve on learning the city and directions and all that. And plus you got Google Maps on your phone, so you can't really get lost with your phone. Pay your data plan, get a little Wi-Fi if you need to. You'll be good, right? Hey. Hey, we're moving back to food. This question is, what's up with Chicago ketchup and hot dogs? Okay, Chicago people can be a little weird when it comes to the food. We can be a little weird, and I don't understand it. I say eat your hot dog however the hell you want to. That's what I say. But in Chicago, there's a thing where you're not supposed to put ketchup on a hot dog. A hot dog, Chicago style, has mustard, no ketchup. I don't know, depends. You come from different parts of the country, you come here, there's some places you go to that look at you crazy. Me, I like mustard on my hot dog. I don't want ketchup because that's just not my thing. But if there was ketchup on a hot dog, I wouldn't trip on it. But just so you know, here in Chicago, that's a thing. Mustard on the hot dog, no ketchup. If you ask for ketchup, somebody may say something slick to you, like, oh, you from out of town, that's not how we do it here, blah, blah, blah. Ignore them. But that's just how it is here. People are weird about their hot dogs. But I say, eat it how you like it. You're paying for it, so, enjoy yourself. But that's the thing with ketchup, hot dogs, Chicago. Some people are weird about things. All right, let's move on. The next question is, city or suburbs? Which do you prefer? Very good question. It depends on what's important to you. So I'll talk about my opinion on the city and suburbs. I grew up a little bit in the city, suburbs from middle school through high school, then I've lived downtown since college. So I have a little bit of everything. I've been downtown. I've always thought I'd always stay downtown. I never thought I'd move back to the suburbs, but the older I get, the more I start to consider maybe I'll go to the suburbs. Schools are gonna be a big factor. Like I mentioned earlier with the magnet schools, public schools, when you go to the suburbs, you're much more likely to have what's considered a quality public school than you would here in the city, depending on the neighborhood. So schools, family, that's one of the biggest issues. Number two, your taxes. All right, now some of these suburbs, once you leave Chicago, and people always say Chicago taxes are high, and believe me, they are high. They're higher than a mug. But when you get to the suburbs, property taxes are a lot higher. So you're gonna pay a little bit more for those schools and for that family environment. So there's a cost trade-off right there. I like the city, I like the energy, I like a lot of stuff going on, but for a lot of people, it ends up being a money thing with the family. You've got one kid in daycare. You can handle that with 2 people working, 1 kid in daycare. Once you get 2 kids in daycare, daycare is expensive here. Having 2 kids in daycare for a few years, a lot of people really can't swing that. A lot of times I see once that second kid comes around, people start saying, hey, we need to get to the suburbs, get a single family home, need a little more space, and it's getting a little too expensive here in the city. So family and cost are the 2 biggest factors that are gonna decide city versus suburbs. Now, just in general, if those things weren't an issue, I would wanna be in the city. The suburbs for me are just, it's so quiet, and at night you can hear crickets, and that's cool, but it's just like, I need to be closer to get some food, to the grocery store. In the suburbs, a close fast food spot, it's a 10-15 minute drive there and back. You're gone 40 minutes just going to grab some food. Me, where I live, I could walk out, take 200 paces, and I do count the paces from my front door to other places sometimes. I'm weird like that sometimes. But anyway, I'm close, and most people who live in the city, in these neighborhoods, you're close to a pizza spot or whatever in your neighborhood. You can walk there, get back. So it's a lot of convenience. I like to be next to a lot of stuff going on. I'm a city guy. Don't hold me to this, but I think I'll end up just staying in the city. I could be talking to the suburbs, but I think I'll end up staying in the city. So again, like I said, I like the energy. City's big for me. Family is usually what pushes folks out to the suburbs, but we have a lot of great suburbs here in the Chicagoland area. So honestly, it's what's best for you and your family, but no matter what, you're gonna be good. There's great options either one you choose. I'm filming this right now in the middle of Snowmageddon. I don't know if that's actually the coined phrase, but we've been getting a lot of snow. I think it snowed every day for the past 10 straight days here in Chicago. So because of that, not a question, but I'm gonna give you a Chicago bonus. I'm gonna give you some Chicago slang. What do we call it when it's cold outside? We call it the hawk. Example, woo, the hawk is out today. The hawk. That's Chicago slang. That's a bonus for today's video. I think I'm gonna start throwing some more bonuses in there like that. Well, let me know if you like some more Chicago slang thrown into these videos. But that's it. That's the only bonus I'm gonna give to you guys. Maybe I'll give you some more next video. I'll think of some more stuff to throw in. If you have any questions about Chicago that I did not answer, put them in the comments below. If you have any opinions on the answers I did give, let me hear about it. Again, if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. This is the kind of content I make. And if you're planning to move to Chicago, like I mentioned before, I have a process that makes buying and renting in Chicago easy for you. So reach out to me. I've got your back. All right, you all, have a great day. I'll see you next video.